If your color-coded calendar looks amazing on Sunday, but falls apart on Monday, this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about time blocking that actually works in real life, especially when clients, family, tech issues, and unexpected interruptions are part of your day. Welcome back to the Janila Adams Experience. And this month, we're doing the Intentional Boundary series, where we're talking about building businesses that support your life instead of constantly competing with it. Today, we're talking about time blocking, not about the perfect color-coded Pinterest-worthy version that looks amazing on Sunday, but completely falls apart by Monday afternoon. We're talking about building, or I should say, time blocking for real life. Okay, let me ask you this. Have you ever created the perfect schedule? I know I thought I did until grandkids, kids, pets, and all the things got in the way. So, you know, every hour that we spend mapping out stuff, every task has a designated block. The calendar looks beautiful. You feel productive just looking at it. You think, this is it. This week, I finally got everything together. I got it under control. And like I said, Monday happens. A client emails with an urgent request. Your internet starts acting up. Been there a few times. I hate that. And your kids, no matter how old they are, need something from you. And it's kind of hard to focus when you have all that going on. So you spend 30 minutes looking for a document. You absolutely was sure that it was right there. And then suddenly by noon, everything that you carefully planned is out the window. I know that sounds familiar because it happens to me. Life be lifing. So I want you to hear this clearly. You're not bad at time management. We're not. We absolutely are not bad at time management. And you're not lazy. So don't think of yourself as being undisciplined. Your schedule is simply unrealistic. And that's one of those things as a recovering perfectionist, I had to learn. The slightest thing will throw you off your game. I guess you could say how you bounce back from it is what determines your success and also your longevity. It all depends on how do you bounce back. So a lot of entrepreneurs abandon time blocking because they think they're doing it wrong. And absolutely, you're not doing it wrong. But most time management advice is built for, let's just say, the ideal circumstances. But life does not always come at you that way. The unexpected always seems to happen. We assume we have this energy that will stay consistent all day. And that's an assumption because it doesn't. It really does not stay that way. So here's the thing about, trying to do time management the ideal way. It assumes that no one will need you, nothing will break, and every task will take exactly how long you predict it to. And that is so furthest from the truth. That is so far from the truth. So that is not real life, especially if you're a business owner, over 40, and juggling your business, your family, your home, your responsibilities, and your health. As you know, menopause be causing problems and wreaking havoc. So we're trying to do this as best as we can, trying to keep up with all the things we have to do. So let's just take a breather and just pause for a moment. And let's get into some ways that can help us time block that is natural to us, that doesn't feel overwhelming. And also, it will allow for us to have those breaks where things that could go wrong, and unfortunately they do, it allows us to bounce back. So, like I said, today we're going to reframe time blocking because you don't need a perfect schedule. You just need a flexible one. And amen to that. So, traditional time blocking often fails because it treats your calendar like a rigid container. You put stuff in, you put the lid on it. Anyway, but that's how it feels. Like everything is rigid. It's not flexible. So when the hours gets filled, every minute has a job. And on paper, it can feel empowering. The reality of it is things happen. So your calendar, your color-coded calendar, when life happens, life doesn't care. It just doesn't care. So it will literally throw your plans out the window. So when your schedule has no flexibility, every interruption starts to feel like a failure. I mean, when you decide that this is how I'm going to plan my week and you're marking off the hours, because I've done that. I used to buy calendars, which I still do too, or planners. They have the hours blocked off. And here's the thing. Let me give you a little life story about what's happening now. We have adopted a new puppy. Okay. And I normally have my time blocked off 6:30 devotional, 7:30 exercise, 8 o'clock, get dressed. That's how I planned out my time. And as you can see, hour and a half blocks, right? So now that we have the new puppy, I just put in those blocks, adjustment to Sadie, because that's basically what I'm doing. I'm adjusting my sleep, my workout, all the things to our new puppy. So, and it makes me feel like, okay, I can move forward with my day knowing that I don't have a set block because I know my calendar right now is going to have to be adjusted for the next, I would say, 3 to 6 months. And that's okay until I get her on schedule. So that's my reality for right now. So getting back to what I was, what I was saying. Okay. When you do have no, when you don't have flexibility, let's put it like when you don't have flexibility in your schedule, in your calendar, one unexpected phone call can make you feel like you're behind. How many times have you had that happen? You get a call from a client or your mom, your dad, or anybody. Or in this instance, because of that phone call, it makes your task longer than what you had planned for. So when you had what you thought will take you 2 hours to do, come to find out it's going to take you 4 hours to do because you had to answer the call, answer the questions, and so on. So when that happens, you feel like, well, gosh, now what happened? My time is upside down because I had an emergency. And that's the thing, you have to allow for yourself to have flexibility in your time blocking. So that type of scheduling, when you are time blocked so detailed, it does create frustration. It creates overwhelm. It creates decision fatigue. And unfortunately, guilt comes along with it because you didn't finish a task or meet a deadline or any of those things that you had planned on doing. So that constantly feeling of being behind, no matter how much you've accomplished, just doesn't sit well. It is what it is. So the problem isn't the time blocking itself. The problem is unrealistic expectations. So what I want you to do is sit back and think, how can I, work my schedule to where I don't feel overwhelmed, that everything just the slightest thing takes the wind out of myself. So we're going to start talking about ways to have a flexible time blocking schedule. So let's get into it. So here's the better approach about flexible time blocking. Okay. Instead of scheduling every second, or I shouldn't say every second, I'm sorry, every minute, because sometimes it does feel like a second. So every time you schedule something for every minute, um, you got to think about it. You got to do categories of work. So give your day structure without locking yourself into a plan so tight that one interruption ruins everything. So this will allow for you to have a better grasp on your calendar. So think of your calendar as a framework, not a prison sentence. Think of it as a framework. Okay. For example, for example, instead of blocking off 9 o'clock to 9:30 for one specific email, or 9:30 to 10:45 for one specific task, or 10:15 to 10:45 for one administrative item, you might want to create a broader block that reflects the type of work you need to do. First, CEO time. I know I've talked about this in previous episodes. We're going to do CEO time. This time is for strategic planning, reviewing goals, making decisions, checking in with your numbers, and stepping back to ask, where is this business going and what needs my attention next? So I like doing my CEO time Sundays and Mondays because those are my, I guess you could say low days, especially Sunday. It allows me to get ahead. Well, I can't really get ahead. That's not what I meant. It allows me to work on my calendar and put the blocks together that I need to do. And like I said, since I have Sadie in the house now, I had to make adjustments. So not only in my personal life, but now my professional life, because I have to make sure she's either outside or taking a nap because she's a puppy. She barks, she whines, and all the things. So it's an adjustment. So the second thing is marketing time. Okay, this is another block time that you can have for your schedule. Okay, and this might include content creation, social media networking, visibility tasks, email newsletters, or anything that has to do with your administration, or I should say your marketing. And you can do that and get it done and out of the way. And third, client time. This is where you have your meetings, your consultations, your project work, client follow-ups, and delivery tasks live. So everything is just for your client. That's what you can set up. When you group client work together, you reduce the mental switching that happens when you bounce between 5 different tasks all day long. So we're going to have our CEO time for one, then we have our marketing time for two, and we have client time for three. Four is admin time. Okay, this is email, invoicing, organizing files, the heavy lifting stuff that happens behind the scenes, updating systems, scheduling, and those miscellaneous tasks that have to happen but shouldn't take over your entire day. So, number 5, buffer time. Buffer time is that secret weapon most entrepreneurs skip. I'll repeat that. Buffer time is that secret weapon that most entrepreneurs skip. Honestly, buffer time might be the difference between feeling constantly behind and feeling like you can actually breathe. The buffer time gives you room for interruptions, delays, unexpected opportunities, tech problems, family needs, because I don't know about you, but I'm in this sandwich generation, and now I'm an empty nester, but I still have, duties to my mom and helping the kids along. So those tasks can simply take longer than you thought they would. And you have to be mindful of that. So don't what is it? Don't paint yourself in a corner. I know it's cliche, but allow yourself time to have interruptions and mark it off as such. That way you don't feel overwhelmed. You don't feel angry because sometimes you get frustrated when you're dealing with you're dealing with your schedule and someone seems to, I won't say impede, but they really need something from you. And I guess you're the only person who can help them. So, like I said, buffer time allows for that space. So without buffer time, one disruption can derail your whole day. I've been there, done that, don't like it, and this is why I'm putting this into practice. So that way I can get a grip on my calendar. One of the best boundaries you can create with your time is refusing to schedule yourself at 100% capacity. I know that was says go give it 100. No, because if every hour is booked, where does real life come in, and where does it go? Okay, aim to schedule about 80% of your available work time. 80-20 rule. The remaining 20% becomes your breathing room, hence your buffer time. So let's think of it this way. When you have the 80-20 rule in this aspect, it allows for you to have breathing room, to sit back and say, okay, let me catch, and then move forward. Now, this does not mean that you're being less productive. It really isn't, because sometimes when you have to have that pause, it allows your mind to catch up with the rest of what's going on. And it means you're being honest with yourself. It means that you're building a schedule that accounts for reality instead of pretending reality will politely wait until after 5 p.m. because it does it. It really does it. So this breathing room allows you to recover from interruptions, without throwing a whole day away. You know how they say, no, that, never mind. Anyway, so this allows you to recover without throwing the day away. And it gives you that breathing room or that space that helps you make better decisions because you're not rushing from one block to the next. So do the 80-20 and see how productive your day will be. So here's the other thing too we have to address. There's no way of getting around it. The next piece is focus on priorities, not perfection. And like I said, as a recovering perfectionist, I will sit here and look at my planner and say this, this, and this, knowing that 95% of what I plan for is not going to go how I plan. So let's work on our priorities. So this means every morning, identify your top priority, or I should say your top 3 priorities, not the top 12. Let me repeat that. Every morning, identify your top 3 priorities, not the top 12, not the entire running list of notes, just 3. Okay. Your 3 top priorities. In fact, my planner actually has at the top 3 priorities. Okay. So I write those down, and then that's what keeps me on track. So here's what you got to do. Ask yourself, if only 3 things get done today, what would actually, move the needle? Okay. If those 3 things got done, that day is a success, and everything else is a bonus. Let's say hallelujah to that. This mindset shift reduces stress because it gives you a clear target for the day. Instead of trying to complete every possible task, you're focusing on the meaningful ones and making progress along the way. Here's a practical example. Let's say that your top 3 priorities of the day are send a proposal, outline next week's content, and follow up with 2 clients. That's it. Okay. These priorities can fit inside your broader blocks. The proposal might happen during client time. The content outline might happen during marketing time. The follow ups might happen during admin time. If an unexpected issue pops up, which it will, you got to plan for it. You still know what matters the most, and you still act accordingly because once you get those done, your day is complete. So here's a simple action plan or challenge, because we don't leave out of here without one. Look at your calendar and choose one day to practice flexible time blocking. Just one day. I'm not asking you for anything else, just one day. Do not, and I repeat, do not overhaul your whole life in this process. Do not do that. All I'm asking you is choose one day to practice flexible time blocking. Okay. So create a few blocks: CEO time, marketing time, client time, admin time, and buffer time. Then choose your top 3 priorities for that day and then place them inside the blocks where they naturally belong. And at the end of the day, do not ask, do I follow the schedule perfectly? Don't ask yourself that, because you're not going to like the answer. Ask, did this schedule support my life? That is the goal. The whole point is building a business, or a calendar in this sense specifically, that supports your life, not consume it. The goal is not to build a Pinterest perfect calendar, because it doesn't exist. Even though we try, perfection does not exist. And plus, perfection is overrated. The goal is to create a schedule that supports your life, your energy, and your business. Time blocking works best when it leaves room for reality, because successful entrepreneurs do not manage every minute perfectly. We really don't. And let's be real here. That's so passe. Anyway, they manage their priorities intentionally, because this is what we're talking about, intentional boundaries this month. So thanks for listening and watching. And I'll see you in the next episode of the Jamila Adams Experience. And we'll be continuing the Intentional Boundaries series. So until then, I want you to be inspired, be inspiring, be encouraged, be encouraging. But most of all, I want you to be you and be flexible with your time blocking. And I'll check you out next week. Take care.